What is good, y'all? I'm hyped to talk about all the awesome changes I've made for all of the Minior forms. But before I get into explaining my thought process behind, I mean, the typing choices should be pretty obvious, but all of the cool new mechanics with all of the crazy moves, the stat tweaks, all that good stuff, I recommend you pause the video and read the description if you're new here. It'll give you a really good idea of the background of the ROM hack, the balancing approach I take with things, and just answer a lot of the questions you might have by looking at it. So as you can see on screen, this is the Google Sheet. Link down below you can check out when you're done with the video. I know the cropping is all messed up because I have to fit all these miniors in one screen, but yeah, that's just for the video. But yeah, you can go to the Google Sheet, go to the move guide, and when you're done with the video, I recommend you check out all of these categories you see on screen. The easiest way to do it is to just scroll, honestly. I rework and reimagine all the moves into new categories, and I reimagine every single Pokemon to make them all fun to use and all this good stuff, but you can gather most of that by reading the description. I don't have time to cover those in every single video, so yeah, if you're new here, leave a comment down below if you're new here, by the way. I'm curious how many new viewers are clicking on this video because of the thumbnail or because you like Minior or whatever. Yeah, and check out my other videos when you're done with this one as well. Don't click off yet, it'll mess up that watch time. Speaking of that watch time, yeah, make sure y'all try to watch to the end, drop a comment, drop a like, leave a comment. Did I just say that? I think I did. All that good stuff really helps with the algorithm and get my ROM hacks out to more people and supports my work. Okay, with all that out of the way, Miniors. So in Sweltering Sun, the pink form, technically it's called the red core, by the way, but I'm calling it pink because I will not let Game Freak gaslight me into saying that's red because it's fucking not. But yeah, red core or pink core is fairy now instead of psychic because there are lots of really cool specific fairy moves that I've designed. So Meteor Impact that you see on screen is a sick move that was actually designed for Jirachi initially, but then I realized it fits Minior obviously very well. And so I was like, you know what, let me give the pink form stab on that. I think that's really cool because Jirachi is also now a fairy, so therefore Meteor Impact is fairy. There are other Pokemon with this move, stuff like Eternatus because he came from space, and a Meteor specifically. What else? There's two more. Golurk, Deoxys, stuff like that, right? Anyway, very, very cool. And then the other forms are Fire, Electric, Grass, Ice, Water, and Dragon. Pretty self-explanatory choices for their colors. You could argue Ghost fits the Violet one. However, my argument is Draco Meteor. That's all I gotta say. Draco Meteor is fucking awesome, so I'm gonna pick Dragon. Speaking of Draco Meteor, all of the forms have at least one Draco Meteor variant. All of them have, except for Ice, though. All of them have a Draco Meteor variant except for Ice. Fairy only has a special one in Radiant Outburst, while all of the others besides Fairy and Ice have one for both types. So those are all 140 power moves that drop your attack or special attack by -2. You got Blazing Assault, Blast Burn, Hydro Assault, Hydro Cannon, Electro Assault, Zap Cannon, Frenzy Plant, Leaf Storm. All of those are very good because obviously the pink core, the core form is incredibly fast now, which flavor-wise I think makes a lot of sense given just the fact that they're like these little meteors with they're like bouncing around super quick, like unbounded by the shell or the meteor, right? They're just a core. So I think them being incredibly fast is really fitting. They don't have any boosting abilities, so the 125 offenses, while good, are not anything crazy. However, the craziness comes from the move pool, the coverage, the high base power stabs. That's where it really starts to shine and be able to just get a bunch of kills once you swap to the core form. The Meteor form also has its own respective utility, so this game is balanced around Teamlocked, right? So you're supposed to be taking advantage of your Pokemon to the fullest, so you might be just using Meteor form defensively with stuff like Teleport or U-Turn, or healing moves and debuffing moves and stuff like that. You don't always have to go full offensive. Not to mention the setup stuff isn't until the very end of the game. And you don't really need setup most of the time on this guy anyway. You can just teach a bunch of coverage and strong stabs and kind of blast through at least 2 or 3 Pokemon. At least 1 or 2 or 3 on the boss fight coming up ahead. And you can go even crazier if you prep correctly and you teach the correct moves and all that stuff. Meteor Beam is obviously great on them. It's going to give you a special attack boost, and because they're so damn fast, you can outspeed everything and kill everything with all of your crazy coverage. Even just like as a face value, outside of the stab, they still have like really good coverage that's universal. You might be noticing Fairy has very little exclusive moves because personally I see Moonblast and they already have Dazzling Gleam. Personally I see Moonblast, Eternal Beam, and of course I see Meteor Impact on all of them. That doesn't mean the other ones are better because they get more moves, because Pink Core gets Stab on Meteor Impact, they get Stab on Eternal Beam. So that's really good, especially because Eternal Beam's TM is 6 badges, which means you're getting it roughly at level 43 compared to the other recoil moves, which you don't get until level 57. So that is a huge difference. You get that like 15 levels earlier. So Fairy Core is eating. If you want to ask my personal opinion on which ones I think are the coolest or would be the most fun, I would say Dragon, Fairy. Dragon is still gonna win. I feel like just because of the soul of Draco Meteor, like it's so fucking sick, right? But Pink Core with that stab Meteor Impact is awesome too, and just all the other cool stab stuff. Then I guess for my ranking, I would go Ice, because I think a fast, frail rock ice type is really cool. Grass, I just like green a lot, and I think the grass one has cool moves. Speaking of cool moves for grass form, by the way, Chloroblast is uniquely awesome, because Chloroblast will have your HP, and then give you +1 special attack. So what you can do is, Meteor is like, get something in range for a neutral Chloroblast. Click Chloroblast, take half your HP. At the end of the turn, you'll turn into the core form. So now you're a grass, a rock grass with 150 base speed and 125 special attack and +1 speed, +1 special attack. And you can go from there. You could even click fucking Meteor Beam after that if you wanted, man, to get +2. Go crazy. I mean, I don't know, that's a bit overkill, but it's fun. So you could definitely do that too. But yeah, Chloroblast synergizes really well with shields down. That was my point there. Electro Ball is incredible for the yellow core. That's why those are both level 65 moves, because they're very, very, very strong. Electro Ball gives you +1 speed now, so you can keep boosting up your speed and just get super high base power because you already have a 150 base speed. Speaking of speed tiers, I need to check, because 150 base speed is great, but you aren't guaranteed a plus speed nature or max speed abbeys. So in reality, you're outspeeding base 126 and below is what you're outspeeding guaranteed on the AI if you get a neutral speed nature Minior, which is great. That is like this is one of the fastest Pokemon in the game, right? Incredibly fast, but of course the AI is still always going to beat you out with speed. That's by design. That's to make the game a bit harder, because the game's going to be really rewarding and easy in regards to Terra and Move Learner, right? So adding some extra challenge there by making the player have the disadvantage with IVs is the least I can do, because the player has so many goddamn advantages over the AI anyway. But yeah, defensively these guys are cool. And then you can still use that Meteor form, right? I mean, Meteor form also can't be status. It has some nice little, niches there. You can do like a Eject button Meteor form. I already covered that you can use it as a pivot. You can even like set up as the Meteor form with like Calm Mind or something, because you're bulky, and then change into the core form, and then go from there. That's pretty good, especially because you don't change till the end of the turn. So that's definitely useful. Yeah, Lunar Blessing can be kind of a neat little option. Cosmic Power is pretty good, just better Calm Mind. Meteor Impact is awesome. So yeah, the flavor for Meteor Impact, that comes from Sunsteel Strike, by the way, if you're wondering. So the animation is like you flying up into the air and soaring down, and then like you make fire impact on the ground, because it's cool. It's like you're from outer space. And the flavor there, the theory there is like, meteors make like big explosions when they hit, and so I think burning makes sense, like, because it's so hot, because they're moving so fast and hard that they like make fire. So, like meteors will set on fire as they're like falling towards the earth. Whatever, you guys get the idea. So I think that's cool, and also gives it some good utility. Even just Meteor form, right? You can just use Meteor form for a guaranteed burn Meteor Impact there. Even if you're doing no damage, it's even better, because you're not taking much recoil if you're doing no damage. So yeah, obviously if you're doing it offensively, then you're taking a shitload of recoil. Meteor Impact, it's basically Fairy type Head Smash that also burns. Head Smash is the same thing, 140 power, it deals 50% recoil, 100% accurate, and instead of burning, it'll drop your defenses by -1, but Head Smash is super, super strong on these guys. They're also mixed attackers now, I didn't mention that, compared to Sweltering Sun. Obviously in Vanilla they're mixed attackers. Flavor-wise, in Sweltering Sun, I didn't see mixed attacks, because I just think they make more sense to be special, like with this energy little core. However, I think them moving super fast can kind of equate to strong physical attacks, but honestly, in my opinion, they should only be using physical attacks if they're contact, for the most part. Like, for example, Meteor Impact, right? Like, or Head Smash, like that, I can see doing a lot of damage because they're crashing into you, but I don't see them using, like, Earthquake. That's actually why I removed Earthquake flavor-wise. I see them using Earth Power, because that's more of, like, a special, like, aura type of attack, I guess. Meanwhile, like, Earthquake is like, oh, I'm making the ground shake, which I personally don't see at all on them, so I deleted that. Which, I mean, it's not a big deal, it's just for flavor, really. Because with Move Learner, you can always switch between special and physical depending on the situation anyway, and you have so much coverage, it's never going to be a problem. You can also abuse, like, Body Press on the Meteor form, that's pretty good. Especially if you got, like, Terra Fighting RNG'd, that'd be pretty dope, not to mention you have Stab on Takedown and Aura Sphere and Focus Blast. There's so many other cool moves I haven't covered that are exclusive. So Electro Shot is the same thing as Meteor Beam. It also works in the rain, technically, but yeah, that is for Electric Yellow Core. Freeze Dry and Icicle Crash are just 95 and 85 power, no drawbacks. Dragon Pulse, Dragon Rush are both 100 power, no drawbacks. Dive Bomb is flying type by jump kick, and you can use that it's just a cool little option. Like, it's coverage, you know, it's cool. You also have some other inaccurate options like Thunder, Hurricane, Focus Blast. The Ice form has Triple Axle. You've got like Hydro Pump on the water form. You guys get the idea, right? Supercell Slam on the yellow form, the Electric Core. So yeah, Dragon Ascent is I don't know if I covered, actually I did cover this, yeah, that they're all physical and special counterparts of one another. Mineral Shower, I don't know how I didn't say this yet. Mineral Shower is Rock type Draco Meteor, so that's also super dope. What else was there to cover, man? I don't know, not too much else really. Shell Smash is obviously good, but it's kind of overkill. You don't need speed boosting unless you need to outspeed something that is over 126 base speed and you didn't get a plus speed nature Minior, or if you got a minus speed nature Minior, then you can abuse that for the end game. I just don't like setup very much. It's kind of brainless and lazy. Even with all the nerfs I put in place, it's still strong. Yeah, some other small things I could touch on, like Twilight Cannon is it's not small, it's cool. Twilight Cannon I gave them because of the whole space theme, right? Twilight Cannon comes from the moon, and you know, moon and stars have like that correlation to outer space. So I chose to give them Twilight Cannon for that reason. Twilight Cannon is Dark type Draco Meteor. I also just think them having a bunch of Draco Meteor variants is fucking cool because they're like the Meteor Pokemon. I just think I don't know, I love the idea of like these little guys just firing off like big ass blasts of like energy, right? Lumina Crash, they're like glowing orbs, so Lumina Crash is a special Psychic type recoil move. Same thing as Eternal Beam, but it's Psychic type, so that's really good for coverage over Psychic. Or Zen Headbutt, which are both like 90-95 base power moves. I think I've covered pretty much all the important stuff. You've also got like Flare Blitz, Overheat, Wave Crash, Volt Tackle, Draconic Beam, Seed Flare for other recoil options for the respective forms. And then you've got Icebreaker and Absolute Zero, and Radiant Edge and Torrential Pulse, and Wildflower and High Voltage for Wicked Blow variants for all of their respective forms. Stone Edge is also a Wicked Blow variant as well, so keep that in mind. All of those Wicked Blow variants, the downside is that they can't be used twice in a row, which means you can't spam like Choice Band, Choice Specs, or Choice Scarf with them. However, they're so fast that that drawback is very minor, which is why they're so late level up wise compared to like Recoil and Draco Meteor variants. Another really cool thing you can do is, because you're a mixed attacker, is use one Draco Meteor variant and then switch to the other. Of course, White Herb is also good because you're so fast, you don't really need to worry about your item slot as much for speed control. So you can just slap on a White Herb, and now you get like 3 Draco Meteors per battle, right? You get one Draco, then you click Draco again, then you click Dragon Ascent, and that's just for the Dragon form, of course. All the other forms can do the same thing for the most part. So yeah, super dope. This guy's got some cool utilities still too, like other stuff like Strange Impulse. I didn't cover that yet. Strange Impulse drops special attack by -2, so that's good for like the Meteor form for bulk. I would have loved to give them their own respective unique abilities, like Guarding Gale or Guarding Gale or Shell Armor. I think would have been sick on the Meteor form, but unfortunately, I physically cannot give them separate abilities, otherwise they won't change form. Because the way Shields Down works is pretty dumb. It basically means that you have to send it in. They send in as core form, and then they change forms to Meteor form because of Shields Down. So I cannot physically give them any other ability, otherwise they will just stay on the core form, which is obviously not balanced for the player. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be that crazy because there are other Pokemon that are like, you know, for like Electrode, for example, is like similar speed, Dragapult, similar speed, and both of those have boosting abilities, while Minior doesn't. But, you know, it's just the principle of it, right? It's kind of lame to just get the core form immediately. That defeats the whole point of the Pokemon. So yeah, thanks for listening. Leave a comment down below if you made it to the end, and I'll be back for more coming up, y'all. Peace.